The first thing I noticed was the sound. It didn't make sense at first, just an extra step, slightly out of rhythm. We were walking home just after midnight on New Year's Day. The party had ended early. No drinking, no chaos. Just three of us walking through our neighborhood while the night slowly went quiet again. Fireworks had stopped an hour ago. The streets were wet from melting snow. Broken sparklers and paper from firecrackers were scattered along the sidewalks. It felt calm, too calm. I was walking in the middle with my friend Ryan on my left and my friend Maya on my right. Our breath showed in the cold air. We talked about nothing important, classes starting again, work schedules, normal things. Then I heard it, a fourth set of footsteps. At first I thought it was just an echo. Sound travels weirdly at night, especially in winter. Houses were close together. Everything felt hollow. I ignored it. But after a few seconds the sound stayed. Not louder, not closer, just there. I slowed my pace slightly. Ryan and Maya slowed too. The footsteps behind us slowed as well. I stopped walking. Ryan bumped into me. "What are you doing?" The footsteps stopped all at once. The street behind us was empty. No cars, no people, just the glow of streetlights and long shadows stretching across the road. "Did you hear that?" I asked. "Hear what?" Maya said. "Footsteps," I said, "behind us." Ryan shrugged. "Probably someone walking a dog." "There's no one there," I said. "Then it was nothing," he replied. We started walking again. 3 steps in, the sound returned. Step, step, step. Not rushed, not heavy, just following. My chest felt tight. I didn't say anything this time. I didn't want to sound paranoid, but I started paying attention. The sound wasn't echoing ours exactly. It lagged slightly. Like whoever it was waited a fraction of a second after we moved. I tested it. I dragged my foot across the pavement. Behind us, something dragged too. I stopped again. The sound stopped. Ryan laughed nervously. "Okay, that's weird," he said. "Now you hear it?" I asked. "Yeah," he said. Yeah." Maya didn't laugh, she just stared down the street. "There's no one," she said quietly. We stood there for maybe 10 seconds. The cold settled into my hands. The silence felt heavy, like the air itself was waiting. Then Maya whispered, "Let's just go." We walked faster, so did the footsteps, not closer, not farther. Always the same distance, close enough to hear clearly, far enough to never see. I didn't look back again. Something told me not to. We reached the corner where we usually split up. Ryan's house was first. He stopped at his driveway. "You guys good?" he asked. "Yeah," I said quickly. He nodded, but he didn't look convinced. He walked up to his front door, unlocked it, and went inside. The door shut. The porch light turned off. The footsteps didn't stop. Now it was just me and Maya. Her house was 2 blocks away from mine. We walked side by side, not talking anymore. Every step felt loud. Halfway down the block, Maya grabbed my arm. "Do you feel that?" she asked. "What?" "Like pressure," she said. "Like someone is too close." I nodded. I felt it too. The air behind us felt thick, not cold, not warm. Just occupied. We reached Maya's house. She didn't slow down until she was right at her front door. She unlocked it fast, almost dropping her keys. She turned to me. "Wait until I'm inside," she said. I nodded. She stepped in, shut the door, and locked it. The porch light stayed on. The footsteps stopped. I stood there alone, staring at the sidewalk. Nothing moved. Nothing made a sound. I waited another 10 seconds. Then I turned and walked toward my house. It was only 1 block away. The footsteps returned immediately. This time they sounded closer, not much, just enough to notice. I didn't stop walking. I didn't look back. My heart was pounding so hard it felt like it was shaking my ribs. I reached my house and ran up the steps. As soon as my foot hit the porch, the footsteps stopped again. I unlocked the door, stepped inside, and locked it. The house was dark and quiet. My parents were out of town. I was alone. I leaned against the door, listening. Nothing. I told myself it was over, that whatever it was couldn't come inside, that it was just my imagination feeding off the quiet night and leftover holiday nerves. I turned on the living room light. Then I heard it, a soft sound, from the hallway, not footsteps, breathing, slow, controlled. like someone trying very hard to be quiet. My body went cold. I stood perfectly still. The sound didn't get louder, it didn't move. It just stayed where it was. I whispered, "Hello?" The breathing stopped. I waited. Seconds passed. Maybe minutes, I couldn't tell. Finally, I walked slowly down the hallway, turning on every light as I went. Bathroom, empty, or from my own breath echoing in my ears. I locked my bedroom door that night. I barely slept. In the morning, everything looked normal. No doors unlocked. No signs of anyone inside. I texted Ryan and Maya. Ryan said he heard nothing after he went inside. Maya said she couldn't sleep either. She said she felt like someone was standing outside her bedroom window, even though she lived on the second floor. We tried to laugh it off later. Blamed nerves, blamed the quiet streets, blamed New Year's exhaustion. But something changed after that night. I started noticing footsteps more often. Behind me in parking lots, on quiet sidewalks, in places where no one should be walking. They always stopped when I stopped. They always stayed just out of sight. I moved away later that year. New city, new neighborhood. It still happens sometimes, especially late at night, especially when I walk alone. And every time it does, I remember New Year's night, the extra footsteps, and the feeling that whatever followed us home that night didn't need to rush. The plan was simple. We were supposed to call a ride, get home, sleep, and forget the night ever happened. It was just after 1 a.m. on January 1st. New Year's Eve had come and gone without much excitement. No big party, no fireworks nearby, just a small gathering at a friend's apartment on the edge of town. Music low, lights dim, everyone tired. There were 4 of us left by the end of the night. Me, my cousin Adam, his friend Lisa, and her roommate Ben. None of us had driven. We all planned to take a rideshare home. Adam opened the app and requested a car. Estimated arrival, 6 minutes. We stepped outside to wait. The night air was cold and still. Snow from earlier in the day had turned into slush along the sidewalks. The street was quiet, lined with apartment buildings and parked cars. No music, no voices, just the distant hum of the city far away. I checked my phone. Battery low, 20%. Adam frowned at his screen. It says the driver's already here. That's fast, Lisa said. Where? Adam looked around. It says he's parked across the street. We all turned. Across the street, a dark sedan sat at the curb. Engine running, headlights off. No hazard lights, no driver visible. Ben squinted. That him? Adam checked the app. Yeah, same car, same plate. Something felt off immediately. Rideshare cars usually pull up right in front. Lights on, easy to spot. This one didn't move. Adam waved his phone flashlight toward the car. Nothing happened. Maybe he didn't see us, Lisa said. Adam sent a message through the app, "We're outside." The reply came almost instantly. "I see you." My stomach tightened. "Do you see him?" I asked. "No," Adam said, "but that's normal. Windows are tinted sometimes." The car door didn't open, no wave, no signal. Ben stepped off the curb slightly, then stopped. Why isn't he pulling up? Adam hesitated. "I'll cancel and rebook." As soon as he tapped cancel, his phone buzzed. New message. "Don't cancel, I'm right here." We all looked at each other. "That's weird," Lisa said quietly. Adam typed back, "Can you pull closer?" 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, no reply. The car's engine revved slightly, not moving, just louder for a second. "Okay," Ben said. "Nope, I don't like this." Adam canceled the ride. The moment he did, the sedan's headlights turned on. Bright, too bright. They stayed on, then turned off again. The car didn't move. Silence returned. We stood there, not knowing what to do. Lisa laughed nervously. Probably just some creepy driver who didn't like getting canceled. "Then why didn't he leave?" I said. No one answered. Adam requested another ride. Estimated arrival 9 minutes. Different driver, different car. We waited. The dark sedan stayed where it was, not moving, not leaving, just sitting across the street, engine running. Ben stepped closer to the building entrance. "Let's wait inside." The front door was locked, required a key fob. Only the host had won. He was already asleep upstairs. We stayed outside. Minutes passed. The sedan finally moved, slowly. It pulled away from the curb and drove down the street. We all relaxed a little. "See," Lisa said. "Nothing." Adam's phone buzzed. Message from an unknown number. Wrong choice. My heart dropped. "That's not from the app," Adam said, voice tight. "Block it," Ben said. Adam did. The second ride arrived a few minutes later. A white SUV, lights on. Driver waving, normal. We got in quickly. As the car pulled away, I looked back down the street. The dark sedan was parked at the far corner now. Watching, I didn't say anything. None of us did. The ride was quiet. The driver had the radio on low. Some late-night talk show replay. Normal background noise. I started to calm down. Adam's phone buzzed again. He stiffened. "It's from a different number," he said. Lisa leaned closer. "What does it say?" Adam swallowed. "It says, 'I can still see you.'" The driver glanced at us in the mirror. "Everything okay back there?" "Yeah," Adam said quickly. "Just friends messing around." The driver nodded and kept driving. We dropped Ben off first. Then Lisa. By the time Adam and I got home, it was almost 3 a.m. I slept badly. Short bursts, strange dreams. The feeling of being watched never fully left. The next morning, I woke up to a text. A minute later, he sent a screenshot. It was a notification from the rideshare app. "You left an item in your last ride." Adam frowned in the message. We didn't leave anything. He tapped the notification. It opened a chat with the first driver. The canceled one, new message. "You forgot something important." Adam typed, "What are you talking about?" The reply came slowly. "Me." Adam showed me the phone later that day. His hands were shaking. He reported the account. The app said the driver profile no longer existed. That should have been the end of it. It was. 2 nights later, Adam called me around midnight. "Are you home?" he asked. "Yes. Look outside." I went to my window. The street was empty. "I don't see anything," I said. "Okay," he said slowly. "Don't panic, but there's a car outside my place." My stomach sank. "No plates visible," he continued. "Engine off, lights off. It's been there for 20 minutes. Call the police," I said. "I did," he said. "They're on their way." I stayed on the phone with him until the police arrived. By the time they did, the car was gone. No report, no footage, no evidence. A week passed. Nothing happened. Then Lisa texted our group chat. "Does anyone recognize this car?" She sent a photo. Dark sedan. Parked across from her apartment. Same shape, same color, different city. Ben replied, "That's messed up." Lisa said it stayed for almost an hour, then left. None of us used rideshare apps after that. We drove, we walked, we stayed in. Months passed. I started to believe it was over until last night. January 1st again. A year later, I was home alone just after midnight. No plans, no parties, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I stared at it for a long time before opening it. One message. "Still choosing your rides carefully." I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Outside, down the street, an engine started. Slow, steady, waiting. New Year's Eve ended quietly for us. No big countdown. No crowd. Just me, my older sister Nadia, and her fiancé Mark. We spent the night at a small house party hosted by one of Mark's coworkers. It was already past midnight when we decided to leave. January 1st had started cold and foggy, the kind of night where sound travels farther than it should. We didn't drink much. Mark drove. The house was in a newer neighborhood, but most of the homes were dark. People had gone to bed early, exhausted from the holidays. As we walked to the car, the street felt empty in an unnatural way. No music, no laughter, not even distant fireworks. Just fog. I remember joking, "Feels like the world shut off." I sat in the back seat watching the fog slide past the windows. The farther we went, the quieter it felt. Halfway home, I noticed headlights behind us. One car. No problem at first. Roads were limited out there. But the car stayed with us, every turn, every bend. Mark checked the mirror. "They're riding pretty close." "Maybe they live nearby," Nadia said. We turned onto a smaller road. The car followed. Then another turn, still there. Okay, Mark said. That's annoying. He slowed down slightly. The car slowed too. He sped up. Same distance. No passing, no honking, just following. My chest felt tight. This feels familiar, I said, thinking about other stories I'd heard. People followed home. New Year's night, quiet roads. Mark laughed nervously. You listen to too many horror podcasts. But he didn't sound convinced. We reached the wooded stretch. Trees closed in on both sides. No streetlights. Just our headlights and theirs behind us. Suddenly, the car behind flashed its high beams once. Then again. Mark muttered, "What is that?" They didn't. They stopped behind us. Engine running, lights on. We sat there frozen. After a few seconds, Mark pulled back onto the road. The car followed again. Nadia whispered, "Don't go straight home." Mark nodded. He turned down a side road instead of our usual route. The car turned too. Now there was no denying it. "They're following us," I said. Mark drove faster. The car matched speed. Fog thickened. Visibility dropped. Then suddenly, the car turned off its headlights. It was still behind us. We could see its shape blocking the faint glow from our own lights reflecting off the road. "That's not okay," Nadia said, her voice shaking. Mark gripped the steering wheel harder. "If they keep this up, I'm calling the police." Just then, the road opened into our neighborhood. The car behind turned its headlights back on. Then, at the first intersection, it turned away. Gone. We sat in silence the rest of the drive. At home, Mark parked in the driveway. We all stayed in the car for a moment, listening. Nothing. No engine, no footsteps. "See," Mark said, forcing a smile. "Probably just someone messing around." I wanted to believe him. Inside the house, everything felt normal, heat on, lights warm, quiet in a comforting way. We locked the doors, checked the windows. I went to bed in the guest room around 2:30 a.m. I fell asleep quickly. I woke up to a sound, footsteps, slow, careful, not inside the room, in the hallway. I checked my phone. 3:14 a.m. The house was supposed to be empty except for us. I listened harder. The footsteps stopped, then started again. One step, pause, another step, like not opening it, just touching it. Then silence. I didn't sleep again. In the morning, I asked Nadia if she heard anything. She went pale. "I thought it was you." Mark shook his head. "I didn't hear anything." We checked the doors, still locked. Windows closed, nothing missing. Mark went outside to check the driveway. "There are footprints," he said, "fresh ones, leading from the street to the front porch, then away again. Too large to be ours, too deep to be old." We called the police. They came, looked around, and shrugged. "Probably someone walking by," one officer said. "Holiday night, people wander." "But why our porch?" Nadia asked. No answer. I stayed another night. That was a mistake. Just after midnight, I heard it again. I heard breathing through the door, slow, controlled, like someone listening. I texted Nadia from my room, "Do you hear that?" Her reply came instantly, "Yes." Mark called out, "Who's there?" The breathing stopped. Footsteps moved away. Fast. We didn't open the door. We didn't chase. The next morning, there were footprints again. This time closer to the windows, all around the house. Like someone had walked the perimeter. We stayed somewhere else that night. So did the next family. Because a week later, the neighbors told us something. They saw a man standing in our yard late at night, just standing, not moving, watching the house. When they shouted at him, he walked away calmly. No rush, no fear. We never saw him again. But sometimes when I visit Nadia now, I hear footsteps in the hallway late at night. She says it's the house settling. I don't argue, but every New Year's Eve we lock the doors early. And we never drive the same way home twice, because something followed us that night. New Year's Day started late for me. I woke up around noon on January 1st, tired and sore from standing all night. I work security for a mixed-use building downtown, offices, a few medical clinics and apartments above. On New Year's Eve, the building was mostly empty, but protocol says someone has to be there all night. I finished my shift at 7 a.m. The city outside looked washed out. Confetti stuck to wet sidewalks. Fireworks smoke still hung in the air. People were going home quietly like they didn't want to talk about the night anymore. I live alone in a mid-rise apartment about 15 minutes away. Nothing fancy. One bedroom, narrow hallways, thin walls. I took the bus home. That's where it started. The bus was nearly empty. Just me, the driver, and one man sitting near the back. He wore a dark coat and kept his hood up even though the bus was warm. I sat near the front and put my headphones on, not playing anything just to avoid conversation. At the third stop, the bus pulled over and waited longer than usual. The driver looked annoyed. Then the man in the back stood up and moved closer to the middle. He didn't get off, he just changed seats. I glanced back. He was watching me, not staring aggressively, not smiling, just focused, like he was counting something. I looked away. At my stop, I stood and pulled the cord. The bus slowed. As I stepped off, I heard footsteps behind me. The man got off too. That's normal, I told myself. Same stop, big building nearby. The bus pulled away, leaving us on the sidewalk. The street was quiet, no music. No horns, just wind and the distant sound of traffic. I started walking toward my apartment. So did he. I crossed the street. He crossed too. I slowed down. He didn't pass me. He stayed behind, always about 10 feet back. I reached the front of my building and unlocked the door. I held it open longer than necessary, pretending to check my phone. He didn't rush. He walked up calmly and stepped inside behind me. The lobby lights were dim. New Year's decorations still hung near the desk. No one was working that morning. I glanced at the security camera near the door. The red light was on, but that didn't make me feel better. We stood waiting for the elevator. There was only one elevator in the building. The man stood to my left. I could smell cold air on his coat, outside air, like he'd been standing somewhere for a while before getting on the bus. The elevator dinged. Doors opened. We stepped inside. I pressed my floor. He didn't press anything. That's when my chest tightened. The doors closed. The elevator started moving, slowly. The man stood still, hands at his sides. He didn't look at the panel. He didn't look at me. He looked at the doors. "You can press your floor," I said, trying to sound normal. He didn't respond. The elevator passed the second floor, then the third, then the fourth. It didn't stop. I lived on the 5th floor. The elevator went past it. "That's not right," I said, louder this time. Still no response. The elevator slowed between floors, then stopped. The lights flickered. My stomach dropped. This building had issues sometimes, but never like this. The emergency light came on. The elevator hummed quietly, stuck between floors. I pressed the help button. Nothing. No response. No voice, just static. I turned to the man. "Do you know what's going on?" He finally looked at me. Up close, his face looked tired, pale, like he hadn't slept. "They usually reset," he said calmly. "Reset what?" I asked. "The building," he said. That didn't make sense. The lights flickered again. Then the elevator jerked and started moving. Down, not up, down past the lobby, into the parking levels. It stopped at P2. The doors opened to darkness. No lights, no cars, just a concrete hallway disappearing into shadow. The man stepped out. He paused in the doorway and turned back toward me. "You should come," he said. My heart started pounding. "No," he nodded like he expected that. "Okay." The elevator started moving again. Up this time, it stopped at my floor. The doors opened. I rushed out without looking back. I didn't know why, but I ran. Down the hallway, around the corner, into my apartment. I locked the door. Then locked it again. Then leaned against it, breathing hard. I didn't hear the elevator again. I didn't hear footsteps. I didn't sleep that day. That night, around 11 p.m., my phone buzzed. A notification from the building app. Elevator maintenance scheduled due to reported malfunction on January 1st. I hadn't reported anything. The next morning, I checked the security footage through my work system. I still had access. The lobby camera showed me entering the building. Alone, no one behind me. I checked the bus stop camera footage online through the city's public feed. I stepped off the bus. No one followed. The man wasn't there. I told myself it was stress. Long shift. 3 nights later, I heard the elevator at 7 a.m. I wasn't expecting anyone. The doors opened on my floor. I listened. Footsteps stepped out, slow, heavy. They stopped outside my door. I held my breath. No knock. No handle movement, just standing there. Then quietly the elevator dinged again. The footsteps moved away. The next morning I found something on the floor outside my door. A single elevator access card. Old, scratched, not mine. I turned it in to management. They said it was deactivated years ago. I moved out 2 weeks later. Before I left, I checked the building records. There was an incident report from 3 years earlier, New Year's morning. An elevator malfunction. A man found dead in the parking level stairwell. Hypothermia. He had entered the building but never left. They said he must have been confused, lost, drunk. I don't use elevators anymore if I can help it. And every new year when buildings are quiet and systems reset, I take the stairs. Because sometimes something doesn't follow you home. Sometimes it's already there.